Why are we so afraid of death? In modern society, we often avoid the topic, treating death like a taboo, a terrifying end. But the Buddha offered a different perspective. He taught all conditioned things are impermanent. Everything changes, and death was just part of that change. Instead of an end, Buddhism sees death as a transition, like the seasons shifting from spring to winter. Just as no flower blooms forever, no life stays unchanged. The fear comes when we cling to the idea that everything should last, our youth, our health, our loved ones. But what if we embraced impermanence, not as a loss, but as a gentle reminder to live more deeply? Imagine if we saw death not as a wall, but as a doorway, one we will all eventually walk through. Would you live today differently if you truly understood that? Let's explore together how the wisdom of the Buddha can help us release fear and find peace in the ever-changing rhythm of life. Life is not a straight line, it's a flowing river. And death, it's not the final stop, it's simply part of that flow. Many of us fear death because we see it as an end, a point where everything we know disappears. But in Buddhist wisdom, death is not the opposite of life. It's a transition, a doorway. Just like dusk fades into night and winter melts into spring, death leads us into another phase of existence. What if we stopped asking, why does it have to end? And started asking, what does this moment prepare me for? Think about it. Every breath we take is both an ending and a beginning. The cells in our body are constantly dying and renewing. Life is made of change. So instead of fearing death, can we see it as part of the beautiful rhythm of life? If we accept this truth, we don't just prepare for the end. We begin to live more freely, more peacefully, and more fully. Why do we fear death so deeply? It's often because we cling to the idea of me, this body, this name, this identity. But what if I told you none of it is truly permanent? In Buddhist wisdom, there's a powerful truth called anatta, or non-self. It teaches us that who we think we are, our thoughts, our emotions, even our bodies, are constantly changing. Just think about it. You're not the same person you were 5 years ago. Even the cells in your body have renewed themselves. So if there's no fixed, unchanging me, then what exactly are we afraid of losing? When we let go of this illusion of a solid self, we also let go of the fear that death takes something from us. Because in reality, there was never a fixed thing to lose. This realization doesn't create despair, it brings liberation. It frees us to live more lightly, to love more openly, and to die without fear. Everything changes. That's not just a spiritual idea. It's the reality of life. Seasons shift, bodies age, emotions rise and fall. But suffering begins the moment we resist this truth. We suffer not because things change, but because we desperately want them to stay the same. We cling to youth, to people, to success, hoping they'll never leave. But clinging to what is destined to change is like trying to hold on to water. It slips through no matter how tightly we grip. The Buddha taught the law of anicca, or impermanence, to help us find peace, not fear. When we embrace that nothing lasts forever, we start to value each moment more deeply. We love more freely, we let go more gently, and we live with less fear. Ask yourself, what are you holding on to today that is already trying to change? The more we accept impermanence, the more we open ourselves to the quiet freedom that lives within surrender. What if death isn't the end, but a continuation? In Buddhist wisdom, death is not a closing door, but a change of garments. Just as we let go of old clothes, our consciousness moves forward, shaped by the karma we've created. Karma isn't punishment or reward, it's the natural law of cause and effect. Every thought, word, and action plants a seed, and when the body's no longer useful, those seeds bloom into the next chapter of our existence. The Buddha compared this to changing robes. When one becomes worn, we don't mourn it, we simply move on. This is why living with kindness, wisdom, and mindfulness isn't just for this life. It's preparation for what comes after. The more we live in alignment with truth, the more peaceful our transition becomes. So ask yourself, what kind of energy are you cultivating today? Because in the end, it's not what we leave behind that matters. It's what moves forward with us. Why does death scare us so deeply? Often it's not death itself, but the fear of losing what we hold dear. We fear parting from our loved ones, our success, our identity, the things we poured our hearts into. But the Buddha taught everything we cling to is impermanent. The tighter we hold on, the more suffering we create. What if we could love without grasping, enjoy without needing to possess? What if we embrace the people and experiences in our lives with open hands, not clenched fists? Understanding impermanence doesn't mean we stop loving. It means we love more freely. We stop confusing having with being. Letting go isn't giving up. It's choosing peace over fear. It's understanding that nothing was ever truly ours to keep, only ours to experience. And when we meet death with this mindset, we do so not with dread, but with grace. What if, instead of avoiding the thought of death, we gently turn toward it? In Buddhist practice, many monks meditate on death every single day, not as something morbid, but as a way to live more fully. Through mindfulness, they train the mind to observe without fear, to accept without resistance. Death is no longer a shadow lurking in the unknown, but a natural part of life's rhythm. When we practice meditation, we learn to sit with our emotions, to breathe through discomfort, and to see things as they are, changing, impermanent, yet not frightening. Think about it. If you could face death with calm presence, what else could truly shake you? The goal isn't to obsess over dying. It's to live in a way that when the moment comes, we're not caught off guard. We're ready, at peace, and open-hearted. And in that readiness, we find the deepest freedom. What if death wasn't something to run from, but something to learn from? When we become aware of our mortality, something shifts inside. Suddenly, every moment matters more. We speak with more kindness. We hold our loved ones a little longer. We stop wasting time on things that drain our spirit. In Buddhist wisdom, death is not the enemy. It's the greatest teacher of presence. The Buddha himself and many enlightened masters faced death with serenity. Why? Because they understood that life is not a possession to cling to, but a flow to be honored. When we know our time is limited, we begin to live more fully, not in fear, but in love. So instead of fearing the end, what if we let it remind us of what really matters? Let death guide you, not into despair, but into deeper compassion, clarity, and courage. Death, it's not the enemy. It's not a mistake in the pattern of life. It is the pattern. Just as day turns to night, just as flowers bloom and wither, death is simply part of the great rhythm of existence. And when we stop fighting it, when we stop pretending we are separate from it, something beautiful happens. We begin to truly live. We stop running. We stop holding on so tightly. And instead, we open our hearts to the present moment, to the people we love, to the breath that's here now. Accepting death doesn't mean giving up. It means waking up. It means choosing to live with clarity, with peace, with deep appreciation for the fragile miracle of life. So let's not fear the end. Let's honor it as a reminder. Every moment matters. If this message speaks to your heart, don't forget to subscribe. And may your path forward be filled with presence, purpose, and peace.